Well, good night, everyone. Welcome to this Engage product launch of Omega3 Daily. This has been a call that's been quite a long time in the waiting. Dave and Dr. Prasad will say that they have been wishing to do this for probably the last 10 years. So we're really excited to see what they put together for us. So tonight we have David Nemelka, our CEO, and Dr. Prasad, our Chief Science Officer, launching and talking about our new Omega3 Daily. And with that being said, Dave, I'm going to hand off to you.
Well, thank you, Robin. Before we get started, I'll do the FDA statement. I want people to make sure that they understand that these statements that we're going to talk about tonight have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. Omega3, which we're talking about tonight, is not a product that is intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases. And tonight we are going to talk about health, and we're going to talk about the science of health. So this is a night that I have been looking forward to for literally a decade. Dr. Prasad, in fact, I was just figuring it's been about 11 years since I was introduced to military micronutrient formulation and Dr. Prasad. And from the very beginning, Dr. Prasad has been telling me that micro daily, to be optimal, we need to have people take in an Omega product. And so as we've gone on this journey of Engage Together, as we've looked at the possibilities and the potentialities of how do we fulfill our mission, best fulfill our mission of bringing health and wellness and goodness to you and other people's lives throughout the world, how are we going to enhance your lives with an Omega? Well, I challenged Dr. Prasad. I said, Dr. Prasad, we can't launch a Me Too product. That's never going to be good enough at Engage. And obviously he knows that, and he's 100% on the same page as myself. And we're in total alignment and harmony on this. And so Dr. Prasad has spent many years perfecting a formulation and really digging deep in his research to bring us something very special. And that something we're going to bring very special today is Omega3 Daily, the latest formulation and offering from Dr. Prasad. And tonight is the launch night. It's time for the rocket to get off of the launch pad. So let's continue on, Robin. So we want to talk about the challenge, and this is, as I said, this is something that has been virtually for Engage a decade in the making, and I know in Dr. Prasad's career, you know, we could say decades in the making. And so the challenge was as follows. Essential fatty acids like omega-3 and omega-6 are crucial for optimal health, and they offer many important, numerous health benefits. Our bodies do not naturally produce these important fatty acids, and modern diets don't offer healthy fatty acids for our health. And so with our modern diets, we knew that we needed to bring something special to the table. And in addition, we've been talking ever since we launched Micro Daily and brought Micro Daily to the world that people need to take Micro Daily with food, because Micro Daily has fat soluble ingredients in there that need food or fatty acids to attach to properly be digested. And that includes Dr. Prasad's other micronutrient products like Brain Boost and Eye Boost. And so having a fatty acid is something that's really going to enhance the efficacy of these other products.
Yeah.
So the challenge that we talked about was how do we bring something very special? And after many years, Dr. Prasad has the answer for us. Dr. Prasad has formulated a product with essential omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids that your body cannot produce. These fatty acids promote healthy aging, brain health, heart wellness, cognitive function, and immune system health. So there's a tremendous amount of benefits that they bring. They also support a healthy endocannabinoid system. And that's something that we've talked about, CBD and what it does with the endocannabinoid system. There's an additional benefit we're going to talk about tonight with the benefits of the endocannabinoid system with Omega. In addition, having an Omega in combination with Micro Daily enhances the absorption and efficacy of fat-soluble micronutrients from Dr. Prasad's other micronutrient projects. So this is going to help ensure that you're going to get maximum benefit from all of Dr. Prasad's products. So tonight, drum roll, big celebration. We are launching Omega3. It's another part of the foundation for optimal health. So let's talk a little bit more about the specifics of Omega3 Daily. It's a unique patent pending formula. So we're filing a patent on the product. And because Dr. Prasad, once again, is an innovator and has come up with some very unique formulation ideas and concepts that make Omega3 Daily something very special. It contains the essential omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids that we all need to have optimal health. It is going to be one of Dr. Prasad's core 4 products for optimal health, and we'll talk more about what that core 4 means for you and your future in terms of the products you're going to want to take every single day. It's sourced from responsibly harvested freshwater fish, and it's free from contaminants and heavy metals. This is all verified and validated by third-party testing. So here's the formulation. We'll just right off the bat show you exactly what it has. So Omega3 Daily contains DHA 500 milligrams, EPA 250, ALA 100, GLA 30, and then vitamin E 30 IU. The vitamin E is there to minimize oxidation of these other ingredients, because these other ingredients can be highly oxidative without the vitamin E. So that's an important ingredient for any omega product. In addition, we're going to talk about the ratio. This is where if you want to say the secret sauce is, this is where Dr. Prasad has really brought the best of his knowledge and the best of his craft in formulating our products to the table with the CQF philosophy and standard that he has. And we're going to talk about the ratios of these products. It's very important. So now, before we get too much more into the details of the product, we want to show you we want to make this tangible and real for you tonight. So, I mean, I have a micro day, or I have an Omega3 Daily in my hand. We're going to show you this bottle and other bottles coming off the production line, just to help you see the process it takes just to get these products into a bottle for you.
The bottles are inserted inside the bottling unscrambler. So empty bottles go in here. They go up the elevator. This is where the bottles are getting singulated, so they go one at a time on the line. After the bottles are singulated on the line, this mechanism makes sure that they're all facing the same direction. After they go through this point, they go through upside down, and they get air flushed through these 4 ports. It blows air through the bottle before it stands it up on the lines, upright on the line. From here, it goes through a 6-lane capsule counter. You can see all the bottles underneath here. There's a sensor right here that once the bottles get past here, it tells the machine that I need more bottles, and it feeds more bottles in, just like this. And then over here behind us is the capsule elevator. So this is where we dump capsules in. It goes up the capsule elevator. And then you can get a really great shot of this right here. All the capsules are filled through this elevator, and then they vibrate on these channels to go down through the capsule counter. These are all Omega3 soft gels going down. Getting counted as they drop into the bottles. Once they reach 60, they're released, and they turn and go this way. And then it goes through metal detector. So that's what this machine is. Here's metal detection, just as a safety precaution. After it goes through the metal detector, it goes across a check weigher. This check weigher ensures that we have the correct capsule count inside the bottle. So it's not only counting it correctly, but it checks it right here before it goes off the line. Then it turns, burn that comes down the capper. So we fill the capper for that. This is the induction sealer, so the seal's actually up inside of the lid. That gets torqued down onto the bottle, and then right here, this machine seals the induction seal to the bottle. So that seals into the bottle. After it seals in, it goes through a bottomless conveyor where it lock coats the bottom of the bottle. Then it goes through the labeler, so you've got to roll the labels here in the back. It's almost time to change it. This is the part I like the most because it brings the product to life, right? So the bottle goes through here, and this is where the label's applied on the bottle. And then it comes out on the other end all labeled. Turntable where we always fill the bottles into cases and roll up the case and send it out for the film. So
I can't believe it.
the bottles are
Fascinating.
Dave,
Okay, so Dr. Prasad, what do you think? Do you have your bottle of Omega in your hand tonight?
Yes, right here. And I got it and I'm going to use it.
Well,
I
I'm
just-
excited for you to share with people what you did and what you learned to make this product a reality. You know, this really is it's a big day for all of us because this fills in the foundation of what I know you've been talking to me for going on a decade now. So what an exciting evening.
Yes, yes.
So Dr. Prasad, let's get into some of the science now.
Okay.
Let's share with people some of the reasons why you formulated the product the way you have, and let's help them understand what makes this product so special.
Sure.
Okay, Robin.
Yeah.
All right, this is yours, Dr. Prasad.
Yeah. Here is the importance of polyunsaturated fatty acid, they call it. It is a long one. Fatty acids are plant-derived polyunsaturated fatty acid called linoleic acid that are present as alpha linoleic acid, or ALA generally we call it, which is omega-3 fatty acid, and delta linoleic acid, which is omega-6 fatty acid. They're all derived from the plant. They're essential. These all are very essential fatty acid for our growth, healthy aging, and survival. And because they are not made in our body, we rely totally on diet.
Dr. Prasad, okay, go ahead.
Now, historically, diet has been the primary source of these amino acids, these fatty acids. Modern diet do not provide sufficient amount of healthy fatty acid for our health. As a matter of fact, it provides a more pro-inflammatory cytokines type of diet than the good one, like omega-3 fatty acids. So our modern diet is not very healthy at all. So we need something to take care of that.
So Dr. Prasad, this was something that was very interesting to me. You know, I know that the source of our omega is coming from cold water fish, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But it's not the fish where the omega-3 and the omega-6 comes from. It's the food source that, and the fish processing that plant and algae food source.
Yeah.
So why don't you help people understand why we get the omega from a fish rather than from a plant?
Yeah, from plant, the plant does not have any that we take in the diet. They don't have any DHA or EPA, but algae makes DHA and EPA itself. Themselves, they make it. This plant will make it. So when fish eats algae, they are also eating at the same time DHA and EPA already made by the algae. And so as they grow and older, they accumulate more and more and more. And that's why fish is the only richest source of a DHA and EPA. Vegetarian source, which is ALA and GLA, is from vegetable nuts, walnuts and coconuts and so on. So those are this, but you can get a DHA and the EPA from vegetarian diet.
And so what you've done, and we'll talk a little bit more in depth, but so we've got a combination of both the fish sourced fatty acids and also the plant sourced fatty acids.
Because plant source ALA also have some unique function that are very important for our body. So ALA is good example is ALA. You need a high amount of ALA because, and also you also need a small amount of a omega-6, because omega-6, even though at high dose they are harmful, but low dose they are very useful. And they are also considered essential fatty acid that our body do not make it.
Okay, fantastic. Well, why don't you, this was another interesting thing that you educated me on, and that is the historical importance of polyunsaturated fatty acids and how they were even discovered. So Robin, why don't you put the next slide up?
Yeah, this is very important. Even though for millions of years, humans have been using, surviving nicely and evolving. But it was not until 1929, 6 years before my birthday, when Dr. Burr of University of Minnesota discovered for the first time that omega-6 or GLA was essential for a skin function, as well as it prevents the scaling of the skin. And it's considered extremely important, essential fatty acid for your health. However, after 1929, nobody paid, even though it was considered essential fatty acid, nobody paid attention until during 1970 and 80, omega-3 fatty acid was identified. And its component is DHA, and EPA was further identified in more detail. So you can see historically, we ignored this important fatty acid for so long, millions of years. But I'm glad that finally we found it. And we are, of course, it is so useful for our health. Now we know it.
Fantastic. Well, I think the history of knowing that really it's a fairly recent phenomenon of even understanding these polyunsaturated fatty acids.
Yes.
And now also that knowledge that you've been able to build up is talking to us about the importance of, well, of how the body's composed of it. So Robin, why don't we show them the types of omega-3 fatty acids?
Yeah, there are 3 types of omega-3 fatty. ALA that we take from the diet, from the vegetable and coconut and walnut and so on, nuts. And DHA and EPA that we take from the diet. In human, less than 1% of ALA is converted to DHA. That's very important to remember it. And EPA, so you need a supplement because the diet alone will not give you, it might give you enough ALA, which is also have important function, but DHA and EPA, you cannot get it from the diet high enough dose.
So Dr. Prasad, if I'm understanding what you're saying here, and that is if you have a plant-based omega with ALA, the body just doesn't take enough of that ALA and convert it to DHA and EPA. So once again, a plant-based omega just is not going to give you what you need for DHA and EPA. So that's exactly why we use the
because the conversion is very, very slow.
Okay.
Conversion from ALA to DHA or EPA is very slow. Now, this is very interesting that DHA represents 40% of brain fatty acids. Why? Because as you know, brain has a lot of membranous structure, axon, dendrites, you can see all over the place. And so that's why it has 40%. And EPA in the brain is only 1%. But it is very important to remember that if we take our omega-3 daily, every day, then eventually brain will be enriched to maximum of 40%. And then your brain will perform optimally for whatever required from brain to do their job. And EPA is also important because EPA has certain unique function that DHA cannot produce. So the combination of two is provided optimal benefit for not only for brain function, but we will see later for all other organs.
Well, so Dr. Prasad, this is why this is a really fundamental reason why you consider omega to be a foundational supplement that everyone should take, meaning that it's such an important part of our brain, this DHA. And in addition, we'll talk about other benefits, but just at the core, our brain and our heart are functioning to a great deal because of the omegas.
And immune system.
And the immune system. We'll talk more about that also.
Yeah.
Let's talk some more about the functions of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, because this just talks about how critical it is to optimal health.
Yes. For example, both omega-3 and omega-6 are essential fatty acid. They are absolutely essential for your survival and growth and healthy lifestyle. High doses of omega-3 reduces chronic inflammation. This is one of the major functions. Omega-3 is an important part of the cell membrane and cell receptors. Without that, body cannot function. Omega-3 also, this is very, very important. Omega-3 also acts as a endocannabinoid ligand, and one of the ligand is anandamide that activates the endocannabinoid receptors. So this is the new observation that omega-3, unlike CBD, also does the same thing by different mechanism. CBD also will activate the receptor CB1 and CB2, but it also does it. So in case somebody is, and a combination of those two have a maximum effect on your health, and especially brain function, because they're all related to neurotransmitter release and function. Low level of omega.
I don't have anything to say. I'm actually eating at the time, but the training is off.
What was it?
Someone need to be muted. Go ahead, Dr. Prasad.
Oh, and it is very important to know the distinction between omega-3 and omega-6. Omega-3 is always very good anti-inflammation, but low level of omega-6 is also very important because first, it is absolutely essential for your health, but too much omega-6 can increase the risk of chronic diseases because it acts as a pro rather than anti-inflammatory agents. So the balancing ratio of omega-3 and omega-6 is extremely important, and we have balanced that issue on our formulation that you saw. The ratio of omega-3 and 6 in the Western diet is 1 to 10. In other words, you have 10 times more omega-6 than omega-3, and therefore it is very pro-inflammatory, and that's why you see increased risk of many heart disease and so on and so forth. People consider that if it is a ratio of 1 to 4, at least that much, then you will be a little bit better health than the 1 to 10. And it is very important to see that Eskimos populations has a ratio of their diet ratio between omega-3 and omega-6 is 1 to 1. And they have reduced risk of all chronic diseases that we suffer from. And so omega-3 has a low dose of GLA with high doses of DHA and EMA. Omega-D3 is unique preparation because it has a low dose of GLA, which is very important for your function, and high doses of DHA and EPA.
So, Dr. Prasad, basically what you're doing with the omega-3, tell me if this is correct, is you're increasing the DHA and EPA to a higher level so that the ratio is closer to 1 to 1. So you're improving the balance of GLA with the DHA and EPA in the body. So that's a really important function.
Very important. So it is much more important than what they found in Eskimos, because later on Eskimos have some issue too. But so in order to improve, so we will do better in terms of our health than 1-to-1 ratio, because we have 2-to-1.
So that ratio is really important, and that is another one of the real, I would say, the special things that you brought to the table on the Omega.
Yeah,
Well, let's talk about the importance of DHA and EPA at a whole nother level here.
okay. Now, this is very important that not only that DHA and EPA perform their individual function for your optimal health, but DHA and EPA also conjugate or combine with the dopamine and serotonin. As you remember, dopamine, high level of dopamine makes you happy, high level of serotonin makes you calm, no anxiety, no depression. So what they do it is very important that they have they in a body, they form a additional beneficial compound that nature did not provide it as a separate one. And you can see some of the function. The function of the conjugated DHA and dopamine is decrease the symptoms of Parkinson's disease, reduce oxidative stress and chronic inflammation. You can see that these things are done also by micronutrient formulation. But if you add these things, you get a further advantage because they work by different mechanisms. Reduce the viability of breast cancer cells. Even it has implication in a cancer issue that it can reduce, if you reduce the growth of the, at least in this data, and breast cancer cell, possibly other cancer as well. Next. Function of conjugated DHA and serotonin receptor. This suppresses pro-inflammatory cytokines, which you know is very damaging for all your organs, including brain. It has an important role in the formation of synapses in the brain. You can see without synapse, brain cannot function. They connect the presynaptic and postsynaptic neuron together. And so this is very important function that no other molecule that in my knowledge has this kind of property. And it also protects eye from oxidative damage and also reduce oxidative stress. So you can see the conjugated form, which is a new form, is amazing to see that they perform also. Some of the functions are similar, some of them are unique. And you can see that how beneficial it would be if you have a high level of DHA and high level of EPA, because they form a new molecule that has unique biological function that naturally, if you don't have, then if you don't have a sufficient amount of DHA, then you may not form this kind of compound. Then function of conjugated EPA, dopamine or EPA serotonin, they activate, this is very important, I was discussing, they activate cannabinoid receptor CB1, CB2, just like CBD does, but it does by a different mechanism. And therefore, combination will produce a synergistic beneficial effect. And so this is very important to remember that these kind of conjugated form of DHA and EPA, new function in our body that we did not before knew it.
You know, Dr. Prasad, I know that I think omegas are like the #2 selling supplements in the world, and it's clear why. It's like omega is such a critical supplement, and it's critical nutrient that we have in our body. I mean, the breadth of what it's impacting, the brain, the heart, our dopamine, our serotonin, it's really mind-boggling. So this is very exciting that you have a special formula for us tonight. So let's talk, you talked about the CB1 and CB2. Let's talk a little bit more about how CBD and omega-3 and EPA works together.
Yeah. For example, the omega-3 activates CB1 and CB2, and then it goes CB1 and activated CBT goes to serotonin and makes more, say, for example, when they get stimulated by say, CBD, they produce more dopamine, they produce more the serotonin, and then that's why you feel happy and quiet and calm and quiet. So this is very important.
So with the CBD, it's working with the endocannabinoid system, the CB1 and 2, because the CBD stimulating that and the omega stimulating that. In essence, they work as like a magnifier. They enhance the efficacy of each other, right?
Exactly. And some of these things, this magnifier will do it. For example, CBD can also directly binds with the, say, glutamine, prevent it, release of glutamine, for example, prevent the release. But by this mechanism, you can't, because CBD directly does it, binds it and does it. But by this mechanism, you can only synergistic effect on serotonin and dopamine, and therefore you will be feeling happier and calmer and no depression. And so, for example, micronutrient that we have in a EMF, they also protect the toxicity of glutamate. So CBD prevents the release, but if glutamate is already formed there, then they will prevent the toxicity. So you can see how all this combination of 4 things that you proposed is so important, that just CBD alone would not do the maximum job, or just omega-3 will be useful, but not the optimal job. But if you combine this with micronutrient, CBD, the collagen peptides and probiotics, your body is perfectly happy. Brain, lung, every organ is happy.
Well, you know, Dr. Prasad, I know you are world famous. I mean, and literally world famous. You've lectured all over the world in more countries than I can name, as president of the National Society for Cancer and Nutrition, as a part of the Nobel Committee, with medicine, with being, you know, one of the most high producers of research in the world around micronutrition and human health. I know that you're world famous for the idea of the synergy of different nutrients working together to enhance human health.
Yes.
And this really falls right in line and supports of what your research has shown, is that it's not about taking one supplement or one ingredient, it's about taking the right CQF or the right combination, quantity, and form, and bringing that into your body to really help the body to be optimally healthy.
Exactly. And that's why this one approach, just micronutrient approach, is one thing, is very good and help many people. But if you combine them with probiotics, it is of further help.
Yeah.
So if you combine with the collagen fight, more, and now you combine with omega-3, is a perfect combination for your optimal health.
Well, let's talk about the ratio. Let's talk about this ratio of DHA, EPA, and why that's so important.
Yeah. So both EPA and DHA are derived from consuming fish, but but the conversion rate of the EPA and EPA to DHA is minimal.
I think that should be ALA, right? The conversion of ALA to DHA is minimal.
Also, the EPA is also very minimal to DHA. So this is very important, because EPA again by itself has a function. Then it also goes to slowly converted to DHA. And DHA, as you saw that in previous slide, comprise 40% of brain acids, and large amount are also needed for function in other parts of the body. And that's why we have given a 2-to-1 ratio, because you can provide a higher level every day. And they accumulated, they are not degraded as fast as some other molecule. And therefore, gradually it will reach to a level of 40%. And of course, you know, EPA is only 1% represent the fatty acid of the brain. So that's why it is important to have this, this ratio every day, not just one day. And for this,
so Dr. Prasad, I want to say something. So like there's this mindset of 40% of the brain is DHA, 1% is EPA. So you would think 40 times more DPA than EPA. But really what you're talking about is by doing a 2-to-1, you're giving the body the amount of EPA and DHA it needs, so that then it can utilize it where it needs to, which is in the brain and other organs. So
and gradually they accumulate, because they don't get suddenly destroyed.
Okay.
So gradually they go and increase, and therefore it is important to have a 2-to-1 ratio, because then you have more DHA and EPA to perform. And gradually they will achieve the goal of 40%. But if you give a 40% DHA in one dose, it's not going to work.
Okay, so basically what your research has shown and what your knowledge, this is what makes you so special, is you've figured out that ratio by doing 2 to 1, the body's going to get what it needs so that it's going to get that 40%.
Right, every day.
Yes.
2 weeks, yeah.
Well, I know as we researched other omegas in the market, it was very clear that most scientists don't understand this because a lot of omega-3 products have equal amounts of EPA and DHA. Some even have more EPA than DHA.
Yes, right, exactly.
And so this is like scientific knowledge that you have that these other formulators just aren't applying when they're making their omegas. So when people look at the amount of omega, like 500 milligrams or whatever the amounts are, it's the ratio is almost as important. Well, it's just as important as the amount. Isn't that correct?
Yes, yes. And also that, sometimes they use, I've seen formulation, but they add too much omega-6, which is not good.
Yes. Well, I know one of the reasons, because we've been pricing, we understand the cost of these. One of the things that we've noticed or we know is the DHA is more expensive than the EPA. So what has happened is these manufacturers, they want to be able to say they have a big amount of omega-3, and also the GLA is less expensive because it's a plant-based, so that's less expensive. So they inflate the amount of those omegas so they can say they have a lot of omega, but they're giving people the wrong amount because they're not thinking about their health. That's
exactly right, David.
Well, omega-3 has a 2 to 1 DHA to EPA ratio. So Dr. Prasad, thank you for giving us that. Let's continue on, Robin.
You explain it.
Okay, so now let's talk about the functions and benefits of omega-3.
Yeah, you can see lower chronic inflammation, which is the cause of most of the human illness, improves heart health because it is so important to maintain a good heart, and improve immune function. These are the 3 major functions that you can't, and also that improve in adult brain function, improve arthritis center because it is anti-inflammatory agent, improves eye function. So you can imagine in combination with formula that we have, it adds up additional tool, give a body additional tool to improve function in all these organs, help fetal brain development, because as you said, these are essential fatty acids for growth and survival. And so for fetus is very important. So fetus get from mother milk, and so it is very important to have that thing for development of the brain. And of course, it lowers the depression and anxiety because it goes through endocannabinoid system. For heart disease, it increases HDL cholesterol, decrease LDL cholesterol, and also decrease triglyceride levels. And these are risk factor, lower blood pressure, and maintain healthy heart. I mean, that's amazing benefit. And you can imagine some of these benefits are also shared by other micronutrients that we have, the probiotics that we have. So these combination of 4 that David and Robin, you mentioned, it would be amazing health benefit for all of us.
So what you're saying what you're saying, Dr. Prasad, is omega-3 helps support and promote all of these different health benefits, and then when combined with other micronutrients and a full core of fundamental products, people genuinely can have an opportunity to experience optimal health and improved health.
Improve health while you are aging.
Well, and then if we can look like you at almost 89, I know that you live what you preach, so you're an example to all of us. Well, Doctor, let's continue on. I know people were asking a little bit about ALA. Let's talk a little bit about the function of ALA, which comes from the plant.
Yes.
Seeds and the nuts, and we have those same seeds and nut sources like flaxseed and such. Let's talk about the omega-3 and what it is.
First is omega-3 ALA. They have done a trial. It helps and promote the prevention of strokes. It's very useful for heart disease. Prevent the heart disease, and support also reduction of post-stroke injury. And post-stroke injury is mostly related to acute oxidative stress and acute inflammation. And so you can see that these things, they down-regulate it, decreases it, so we get benefit. So it also increase the brain-derived growth factor, which is very important for brain function, BDNF growth, brain-derived growth factor, which improves learning ability and memory. So you can see how it can help also in memory. And as I said, some of these ingredients that we have in micronutrient or brain boost, they also do this similar thing, but it will further, they do it by different mechanism, so they have synergistic effect. Support the reduction of plaque in the carotid artery. This is very important because, as you remember, when we ran a human trial on a heart in a firefighter, and they are one of the effect of micronutrient, which was unexpected, was that it reduced the plaque formation in the carotid artery. And so you can see that if you have supplementation with this, you will have a further improvement for long period of time.
I love the blood-brain barrier. Dr. Prasad, you are one of the discoverers of vitamin E crossing the blood-brain
barrier. And I think
help us understand even better how this omega functions with the blood-brain barrier.
It is improved because sometimes what happens, some toxic chemicals can damage the brain barrier. So some of the harmful molecule get into your bloodstream or go to your organ. But if it has damaged one, without damage, it will be okay. But for some reason, suppose it has some injury, some damage caused by some other agents, then the alpha-linoleic ALA will improve its function, restore its stability.
Well, I know that the omega-3 daily you formulate has a very a significant amount of ALA in it, and so
yes,
definitely got that right. So now we've talked about DHA, EPA, ALA. Let's now talk about GLA.
GLA is the omega-6 fatty acid. So GLA is the omega-6 fatty acid is essential for your health, and body does not make it, as you know. We depend upon getting this from our diet, vegetarian diet. Omega-6 is essential for our growth and survival. Omega-6 at low doses promotes the reduction of chronic inflammation. And as you know, chronic inflammation is linked with many, many human illness. But omega-6 difference is that omega-6 at high doses increases chronic inflammation and therefore increases the risk of heart disease and possibly other diseases as well. And so don't take it. That's the reason that we have given a tiny amount of omega-6 fatty acid in our formulation, because we knew higher level, like we have in Western diet, higher level of omega-6 is presented. So we didn't want to add another one, but many preparation you will see that they will add a higher level of omega-6, which is not good for your health.
Well, I know omega-3 has an effective and a safe dose of GLA. So
yeah, exactly. Omega daily is a very safe and effective dose, and it is absolutely essential. So you can't completely ignore it.
Okay, let's move on, Robin. To the let's talk about the omega-3 daily. Let's talk about what it naturally promotes.
Yeah, healthy heart and blood pressure, brain cognitive function, healthy inflammation response. We discussed these. Immune function is very important. And other, as I said, other micronutrient that we have in our other product that we have also does the similar thing. But adding this thing, you can have a synergistic effect. Health, also it supports healthy endocannabinoid defense system. Many people have ignored endocannabinoid defense systems, but I think this kind of things bring out the importance of endocannabinoid defense system. Increases in healthy HDL cholesterol, which is considered good for your heart. Decreases LDL cholesterol and triglyceride, which is bad for your heart. And so you can see that omega-3 has a lot of advantage that some of them are shared by other products that we have, but the combination of all 4 products that we have is extremely important for your optimal health.
So really, they're magnifiers of each other. They enhance. the
Exactly,
efficacy of each other.
exactly, including CBD.
Okay, let's continue on, Robin. So the features of Omega, Dr. Prasad, we've talked about how it's a powerful supplement with the right combination, quantity, and form
Yeah,
of essential fatty acids. So the omega-3 and omega-6 are compounds and nutrients our body can't naturally produce. So your product boasts a higher amount of DHA and EPA in a 2-to-1 ratio. That's unique to our product. It has optimal amounts of natural GLA from flax and borage seeds.
Borage
And so
seed,
it's
yeah.
sourced from plants.
yeah.
And it's formulated by you, Dr. Prasad, with that
Yeah.
proprietary balance of between the DHA, EPA, ALA, and the GLA.
Exactly.
So
That's exactly the case. And that's very important to remember that this is very balanced program. And we were very careful to know what we are adding.
as in everything you do, Dr. Prasad, you do everything with excellence. That's why we are so blessed and fortunate to have you. I can't even imagine, well, we wouldn't even be in business without you. So once again,
Well,
we are blessed to have you here tonight, for sure.
yeah, no, I think because of all of us are working together to spread this mission, to promote this mission of good health, and as much as we can. And I hope that during my lifetime, and we can achieve this goal to at least large proportion of the population.
Well, we're on our way. We're on our way. So let's continue on, Robin.
And most important to remember is that none of these products have any adverse effect on anything that you take, except for example, if somebody has in a blood thinner, for example, Eliquis or Plavix, few people have, then they have to be careful. Rather than taking every day, they can take maybe an alternate day because it has also blood thinning effect.
Okay.
So that's the only thing that I will say that again, nobody knows, nobody have done experiment, but knowing the function, then omega-3 fatty acids may not be applicable to them taking every day.
Okay, well, that's one thing I know about you, and that is safety is your #1 concern, and that
Yes.
is why you spent 9 months with the U.S. military just validating the safety of Micro Daily. So
Yeah.
I think it's important we help people and educate them about these things. Okay, Rob, let's continue on. So I've seen a lot of questions about the sourcing of the omega. So we've talked a little bit about flaxseed and borage seed. Those are on the label of the product. That's for the GLA and the ALA. The DHA and EPA, this comes from omega-3 fish oils that are caught wild. They are tested for purity and non-toxicity, and we'll talk a little bit about that. They come from Peru, Chile, Morocco, and South America. Only small to mid-sized fishing vessels that are equipped with dolphin-safe nets are used to catch our fish. So we're trying to be very conscious of how our fish are caught. The following species are the ones that are used for the omega-3 fish oils. We have the Engraulidae family, which is anchovies and includes 16 genus of over 130 species.
That's amazing.
Okay, Robin, okay. We also have the Conjugated family, narrow-bodied marine food fish that's allied to the mackerels with widely forked tails, chiefly from the warmer seas, but it includes the Carinax, the American bluefish, and the pilot fish. And then I'm not saying these scientific names right, Dr. Prasad, but it's the Clupinae family, Teleostine marine fish, which includes herring and shad, Manhattan, pilchard, and others. These are fish that feed on the algae and then convert that algae into omegas within their system, and then we catch those fish and process them, and we get the omega-3 from these fish. So that's the source of fish. And Bernard, I knew you'd be happy to see that we're getting some fish from your wife's home country in South Africa.
Yeah, South Africa. Yeah.
I saw that comment. Thank you, Bernard. Let's continue on, Robin. I have had a lot of people ask questions about, well, what about different sources of omega-3, you know, and let's talk about it. So krill is a source of omega-3, wild caught cold water fishes like we just discussed, green-lipped mussels, and then plant derived from fatty oils. Now, Dr. Prasad has talked about how he is not a fan of the plant-derived fatty oils because those are not going to be as well absorbed and utilized by the body. Is that fair to say, Dr. Prasad?
Yeah, because they can't provide sufficient amount of DHA and EPA.
Okay. So krill, wild-caught cold water fishes, and green-lipped mussels, Dr. Prasad's perspective is as follows. There's no significant difference in an omega-3 or an the omega-3 is sourced from fish, mussels, or krill. And the reason for that is that once the omega-3 is processed from the fish, they're essentially the same for all sources. And that's the same for omega-6 as it comes from plants. But it's important to know that after processing the omegas, that they're third-party tested for purity and safety, and all of our omega. It's you saw that the manufacture and the bottling, the same high quality of manufacturing. We use a company that focuses and specializes in soft gels and omegas. This is what they do. They're the best in the world that we could find, and everything we have is tested for purity and safety because, as with everything, that's not priority number one, right, Dr. Prasad?
Yes, because some of the preparation of omega-3 has been found to have a contamination of mercury and lead, and we were very sure that these sources of fish and after purification they don't have any trace, even a trace amount of these contamination.
Yes, and I see that someone has asked a question with a shellfish allergy. We do not use shellfish for our omega. That's some other companies use green-lipped mussels. We do not. So there should be no issues with a shellfish allergy that we are aware of.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good question. But
that was a fantastic, and thank you for that question.
Yeah, but
let's continue on. I know that stability of omega-3 daily and soft gel capsules is different. Because we're dealing with a fatty acid, it's different than what the micro daily is with the micronutrients. And so the omega daily 3 capsules, they need to be stored at a room temperature, around 7 degrees or less. If you do that, they're going to maintain maximum potency.
Yes.
In addition, Dr. Prasad has added vitamin E to help prevent oxidation in the presence of light and air. So even if the omega-3 is exposed to light and air or heat, a little bit of heat, you've got the vitamin E to help slow down and prevent oxidation.
Right.
But you want to keep it, the ideal is to keep it in the container, the bottle is dark. So
yeah,
it's a bottle that light and air are not going to get into very easily.
Right.
But if you store it in your cabinet, that's the ideal place. Just to be aware, like we do know that if you leave it in your car or you leave it in a hot place, that soft gel capsules are going to liquefy and the omega-3 fatty acids will become rancid.
Yep.
So we just want to make sure you know how to make sure you take care of your omega-3 properly. Now, I wanted, Dr. Prasad, this is something I'm really excited to educate people on, and that is that the CQF and omega-3 daily, how they work together. This concept of CQF, which is combination, quantity, and form, is something you've innovated. It's something you've researched your entire life. And I want to help people catch a vision of how you applied that philosophy to this product.
Exactly. And that's why we develop all this issue of ratio and many forms of, for example, DHA is formed, and they are synthesized in laboratory. And they add some additional molecule on DHA, and they claim it is more effective. But no, that's not true. If it is an artificial form, they would not be conjugated with the dopamine or serotonin. And so we have a natural form, and sometimes synthetic laboratory form that they convert it and claim it is more effective. That's not true. These are all business, the marketing strategy, so that they look different. But if they have some other molecule has been added to DHA or EPA, then this won't be effective because you will not get any maximum benefit to start with. And second, it would not form the conjugation with dopamine and serotonin, and it will provide your body. It will not provide your body maximum benefit of DHA and EPA.
Well, that's why the natural forms is so important, and that's why we've gone
Yes.
with the natural.
Exactly.
And also, I think you've done a fantastic job, I think, Dr. Prasad, in helping us understand why the combination of
Yes.
ELA, DHA, EPA,
Yes.
PLA, and also with the vitamin E, why that is so important. So micro daily or the omega-3 daily, it has all the right combination. In
Yes.
addition, we've talked about quantity, and that's the ratio of 2 to
Right.
1, and having the GLA in low doses
Yeah.
rather than higher doses.
Yeah.
So this is this makes this product more expensive to manufacture than other manufacturers, but we know that it's effective and we know it's safe and it's going to deliver on the promise of enhancing people's health.
Exactly.
And that's what we're all about.
Yeah.
So, and then the final thing in CQF is the right form. And so we're talking about deriving it from cold water fish. We're also talking about the ALA and GLA coming from the right types of seeds and nuts.
Yeah.
And so the right form is very important. So once again, CQF has been the fundamental principle you've applied in formulating it. And obviously you've knocked it out of the park again, Dr. Prasad.
Thank you. Thank you.
And finally, we don't want to overemphasize safety. It's third-party tested for purity and safety. All of our products are third-party tested, and it is essential for us that we make sure we deliver the absolute highest quality, most safe products to you for your enhanced health. I did see a comment about shipping in the heat. Where we're having these record heats in Arizona and other places in the country, the thing that we are aware of, well, first of all, our product is stored in a temperature-controlled facility, so our shipping company does that. So there's really going to be small windows where the product will be exposed to if you want to say, the hotter temperatures. We don't anticipate any problems with that, but if you do receive your product and let's say it sat in your mailbox for too long or it sat in a delivery truck for too long and you see a problem, you just call customer service and we will take care of you. We're here to make sure you get the products that we promise you, which is products of the highest quality and efficacy. So we don't anticipate any issues because we don't see it sitting in the sunlight or the heat for long periods or too long of a period. But if by chance that happens during this hot summer, you let us know, we'll take care of you. So let's talk about Omega-3 Daily and the synergies, because we've talked about your other products. Omega-3 Daily in combination with all of Dr. Prasad's micronutrient formulas will enhance their efficacy. Is that not fundamental to what you've been talking about?
Yes, this is very important. That this one adding the same, we have a multiple approach, individual product, but combination would be synergistic effect for the benefit of your health.
In addition, Dr. Prasad, I know we've been preaching since we launched Micro Daily.
Yes.
We need to take it with food. Take it with food. Now, someone can take Micro Daily or Brain Boost or Eye Boost. Take it with Omega, and the food is not an issue. Isn't that right?
That's correct.
So the Omega-3 makes it so you just take them all at the same time, and they're getting the fat soluble micronutrients will attach to those fatty acids and be optimally absorbed. I can see you smiling really big, Dr. Prasad, because
I know.
I know that was something you were concerned about with people. So this makes it even easier for them.
Yep.
So Omega-3 also provides benefits that the other products don't. So like you talked about, even in the endocannabinoid system, it works with the endocannabinoid system in a way different than the CBD does. It works with the brain in a way that's different than the Brain Boost does.
That's
it works with
exactly.
the immune system that's different than the Micro Daily. I think of the results you got with the U.S. military just testing Micro Daily. Can you imagine if you would have done the test with Micro Daily and Omega-3 also? Can you imagine the results you'd have had?
It would be fantastic, but the established scientific community would not accept a multiple approach at the same time.
Because you know what, Dr. Prasad, you're practical and you know what it takes to make things work, and they want to just be scientific about it.
But that's why only recently they have accepted, at least funded NIH for the first time, that multiple micronutrient is important for reducing the risk of developing memory loss as you grow older. And this paper was published just about 2 months ago.
Wow. So
And
are you saying,
finally they are doing it. So it might take another 10 years before they accept
well,
that a multiple approach, not just the, you see collagen peptide commercial or probiotic as if they are by itself sufficient, but we don't take that approach.
well, Dr. Prasad, I think I heard you just say you were a man that was 40 years ahead of his time. You're
But
you're the
I
Henry
don't give
Ford
up.
of micronutrients. You are the one that is taking us into the new century.
I think so, because that's why in my recent publication, I have added, but omega-3 we have not added because at that time when I published it was not available. But now when I write a new paper, I will include this one too. And I always say that the multiple approach for any health issue is better than one approach at a time.
Well, Dr. Prasad, that brings us to something that I think we could not present until today, and that is the idea of Dr. Prasad's core four, the fundamental foundational products of
Yes.
optimal health.
Yes.
So, Dr. Prasad, we have Micro Daily EMF, which is
Yes.
key to our overall health, and it promotes
Yes.
immune system and inflammation benefits.
Yeah.
It works symbiotically with Probiotic Daily, which is
Yeah.
critical for gut health, and we know our health starts in the gut,
Yeah, exactly.
right? And then it's combined with now Collagen Daily, which is important for our organ and our skin health, and also helping us look and feel our best.
Yes.
Now you've brought to the table the core
Omega.
four, the Omega-3 Daily for mind and body health, and it synergizes with Micro Daily to basically enhance the effects of all of these things.
Exactly. That's the dream.
That is,
If you look
well,
at-
your dream is now a reality. Congratulations.
Because it affects so many organs. One approach cannot efficiently does the job.
Dr. Prasad, now that we have this, I think you're living to over 100. You're going to make it to 100. I know it. And
But
so
then you
am
have to
I.
get- Then you
And
have to
I think
extend
we
that-
all have a chance to live to over 100. How exciting is that?
It's very exciting. Then you have to extend my contract.
Oh, Dr. Prasad, I think that's right. I think we got you up to 99. So if you get past 99, I'm going to have to negotiate. Oh, I love you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Robin, drum roll. Let's tell people what this amazing product is going to cost. You can start your journey today to feel your best with a 30-day supply, which is 60 capsules of Omega-3 Daily, and we're pricing it at $49.99. And as we looked at the spectrum of pricing, that puts us smack dab right in the middle of where pricing is, but we have the Mercedes, we have the Rolls-Royce of Omega products at a price that anybody can afford. Well, thank you, Dr. Prasad, and thank you for joining us in the mission, Robin. We've got the mission of Engage, which is to bring health and wellness, and I'm going to add goodness to this world.
Yes.
And Dr. Prasad, thank you for being an example, for being an inspiration, for being a blessing and a gift to all of us here tonight. And I know that tonight I'm going to go home with a big, huge heart of gratitude and thanks for you. And I'm going home with a big, huge heart of gratitude and appreciation for all of you affiliates and customers who've joined us tonight. And I absolutely wish you the best in all things, starting with enhanced better health. So God bless you and good night. Thanks for joining us on this special day. Thank you so much.